The Trials of Tempus. Eric Tempus is an avid adventurer, extreme athlete, and fearless explorer on Earth. He works for and funds various charities while exploring ancient ruins, base jumping off the world's tallest buildings, and streaming his wildest activities while using his last name of Tempus. It is fate that he had just jumped out of a plane to perform a dangerous skydiving stunt as the Callum attacked Earth. It is as if time itself slowed down while Tempus hurled through the sky. The surface of the planet appears to be writhing and changing as if it is covered in a swarm of insects. This hideous swarm moves across the planet, devouring and changing everything it comes into contact with. The Earth is swiftly transformed into a barren wasteland, devoid of the life it nurtured. Cocoon-shaped alien craft effortlessly drift through the sky around him while searching for bare Earth to land upon. Without warning, time resumes its normal flow, and Tempus quickly plummets towards the ground. The aliens swarm part and leave a barren hole for Tempus to land upon. Confused and bewildered, Tempus can only stare awkwardly at the aliens, now standing upon what was once his home. The alien soldiers are stoically still. They have heads and some kind of weapon or tool that shines with a brilliant light. More of the aliens step aside as a tan-colored cocoon ship touches down on the ground nearby. A slit opens on the side, and a new creature steps out. Similar in shape to the other aliens, this new creature has an insect-like body with a humanoid head, arms, and legs. Multifaceted eyes stare inhumanly at Tempus above a mouth covered with twitching mandibles. "We are Callum," the creature says, while one multi-socketed arm gestures towards the beings around it. Tempus can only stammer unintelligibly in response, unable to comprehend what is unfolding before his bewildered eyes. "You, time, Callum take," the alien creature says. With another gesture, the alien monsters known as Callum descend savagely upon Tempus. He struggles futilely against the aliens, but in the end, loses consciousness as they begin to drag him towards the Callum cocoon ship. An unknown amount of time passes after Tempus was abducted, and he wakes in a stark white cell. The walls and items within the cell are all crafted out of the same unusual plastic material. There is no entrance or exit. He is wearing a simple white jumpsuit that fits him perfectly. With no way to judge time, he is unaware of how long he has been held in the cell until suddenly one of the walls disappears. It blinks out of existence in an instant without making the faintest sound. Tempus is left with no choice but to explore. There are many hallways, all in the same stark white material, but only one route that he can travel. The route leads directly down several hallways to a large empty room. As Tempus enters the room, a table rises out of the floor and the entryway changes into a wall. A robotic voice with an odd accent says, "Lay upon the table." Tempus pays the voice no heed and walks around the room, studying the walls and table. Again, the voice booms out, telling him to lie down. When Tempus ignores the voice, again a buzzing noise echoes across the room, as an electric current is run through the material in the walls and floor. Once the intense pain of the electric shock dies down, Tempus complies and lies upon the table. The intense white light in the room glows brighter to the point that Tempus cannot open his eyes. Again, the buzzing sound echoes throughout the room, and the intense pain floods through his body again. This time, the pain does not end, and Tempus falls unconscious. Tempus wakes in the white room again. He is unable to track down of how many times he has been forced to walk the halls and lay upon the table. He has not required anything to eat or drink, and except for the pain he must endure, is in excellent health. The wall disappears unexpectedly, just like the other times. However, this time feels different somehow. As he steps through the doorway, his hand brushes the smooth plastic material. A strange bubbling sound comes from the wall as it buckles and ripples at his touch. Tempus feels a sense of strong déjà vu, as if he has lived this exact moment before. He walks down the first hallway and runs his finger along the slick surface. It feels like running his hand through thick mud. It is strong but supple. After a moment, the sterile white color of the walls and floor turns an angry red, and an alarm echoes down the halls. A voice whispers behind his head, "They are coming. Fight them. Use your power." He spins around, but there is nothing there but a reflection of himself in the red light on the wall. Walls begin their disappearing act to reveal hordes of Callum, insect troops with their glowing light weapons. Trusting the voice, Tempus raises his arms and closes his eyes. Something extraordinary begins to happen. Tempus can feel the pulse of a connecting energy all around him. He feels it running through himself and running through the Callum. It flows through the walls and through the empty air. He clenches his fists and feels these energy threads contract and vibrate in the same way strings of an instrument do. This vibration echoes through the area around him and explodes outward in a blast of temporal energy. As the blast reaches the Callum troops, they explode into fragments that slowly fade out of existence. Tempus is shocked at what he is suddenly able to accomplish. More troops pour through, disappearing walls, and are easily vanquished by Tempus's newfound power. Something pulls at him through the maze of hallways and empty rooms, but these are easily shattered using the same powers. He arrives at a room with a table exactly like the one he has laid upon over and over again. Now he feels something different. Something pulls at him from inside, and he sees his surroundings fade and begin to change. As they materialize, he sees himself laid out on the table. His unconscious self is surrounded by many of the Callum that he encountered on Earth. They are performing some kind of experimentation on him and inserting a great glowing light into his body. They speak amongst themselves in a clicking language he does not know but immediately understands. The time crystal is ready, one claims. And this is the best use of its powers, says another. A third speaks up in a chastising tone. It has already been decreed. This human is the only one of his species to survive a time cleansing and may be the key to reversing our fate. The aliens seal up Tempus's body with a bright glowing light inside it. The third Callum commands the others to return the human back to his cell. If the human can survive the time crystal's power, then the introduction of Callum DNA is the next step. Tempus awakens from his vision of the past and glances down at his chest. Though it appears as if nothing is physically wrong with him, he can feel the crystal's light within him burning bright. More information on what the time crystal is will be needed if he can learn to understand its power. Using the light's power again, he blasts through wall after wall searching for answers. It is not long before he finds what he's looking for. What appears to be a standard section of blank wall transforms into a type of computer terminal. Accessing it allows him to review tremendous stores of information on the Callum and the time crystals. The Callum found and accessed a time crystal early during their evolution. The time crystal's power was ingrained in their DNA and granted the Callum incredible power and intelligence. The power grew unchecked and eventually fractured their planet in a massive temporal explosion. The same event reduced most of their race to the mindless soldier drones that now make up the bulk of the species. The few remaining Callum that still had access to their minds and powers devised a plan to save their world. They used their remaining power to surround the planet in a field that froze time around it until they could gather enough time crystals to undo the damage that had been done. They then began a galaxy-wide campaign to search for and gather any other time crystals they could find. Entire planets and alien races were destroyed as they marched through solar system after solar system. Too late, the Callum discovered they were too damaged as a species to harness enough power to reverse time and save their planet. They realized they needed another like themselves, another creature that could manipulate the power of the time crystals. They could use this creature to create more of the Callum race to harness the power needed. That was where Tempus came in. Luckily, the power of the time crystal within him had awakened faster than the Callum had foreseen. The downside was that the time crystal had quickly run out of energy unless more time crystals were found. The same effect will befall the Callum as well. They are both literally running out of time. Tempus can feel the innumerable hordes of Callum's soldier drones rushing towards him through the maze of hallways in this complex. Though he is powerful, he will be overrun by the sheer numbers of his foe. Something inside him pulls at him again. Another power awakens as he feels the Callum drawing near. There is no other choice left, and he pulls at the power, freeing it within him. Just as quickly as the walls in the complex had vanished, so does Tempus.